This is more of a theoretical video to explain her essence as well as scaling, The first time we see Never Queen, she is within the multiverse, which shouldn't be so, and that's why people like Silver Surfer could interact with her. Though later on Silver Surfer did get amped, but she says, "I knew you'd come, Norrin Rad," to Silver Surfer, "just as I know everything you will do next. I am the almost now, the yet to be, I am the Queen of Nevers." She says, "I see the length and breadth of your existence, Herald." And she shows Silver Surfer infinite possibilities of the future all at once, which consisted of ultimate joy and sorrow. And her whole concept is basically about a future possibility. She says, "I am the Never Queen, she who is neither of destiny nor chaos. I am the embodiment of all possibility, paramour to eternity, and all that he will become. With every moment that passes, an infinite number of maybes die inside me. That is my lot, to mourn every never will and almost was. Mine is the forever sorrow. I am afraid this was my final battle and I am dying, and with me dies every would be and could be." Her heart was cut out by the sword used by Zed and was created by the dude with the hood, which is called the fabled edge of reality, and can cut into the fabric of existence itself, which Never Queen is basically true existence, as I said, which is basically like she's true eternity, but as you move on you might see why. She existed in a space outside of time and a time outside of space, which she was outside of eternity's being, which the endless forever expanding universe and all possibilities were one. But Zed cut his way into a space without time and a time without space, even beyond the embodiment of eternity and Never Queen, as that is where they stayed. Never Queen gets her power back, and like I said earlier, her heart was removed, so she was weakened and she started going back to where she belonged. We see this wave ending of all realities, in which they are taken to this place called the land of couldn't be shouldn't be, which is beyond the reach of eternity, as I said earlier. But this time eternity is empty and only doom is seen. If you guys haven't read Secret Wars, then go read it. Reality got destroyed and only 2 universes remained, with very few heroes left, and Doom had the power of the Beyonders. Even in Loki Agent of Asgard, we are aware that the same place Loki beat the ones sitting above in shadows. This is the same place where Silver Surfer was, which is the land of couldn't be shouldn't be. And this is beyond the neutral zone, death and planet Euphoria, but this would be dived in more in my third cosmology video. So they used the power of the Forger of Worlds to recreate the multiverse, but they did a terrible job at it while at work, as they made repetitions in space-time. The total shape of every world is wrong, and long story short, they got eternity, which was the 8th iteration, and watch my eternity video tomorrow for more in-depth stuff. They got it back after the Forger of Worlds was killed by his disciple while he was very weakened. And as long as there's a possibility of something happening, the Never Queen exists, in which she exists because of eternity, and eternity had basically gone down to nothing, in which only Silver Surfer and the Earth Girl could get her back, and their one possibility helped trigger the loss of Doom in Secret Wars issue 9, and eternity came back. Literally a whole iteration came back. Never Queen actually is true eternity, and this will be explained in my eternity video, but she's powerful enough to keep the iterations in the fascia, as the outside she stays in is beyond the land of couldn't be shouldn't be, in which she does allow eternity, which was the 7th iteration, to stay with her, and they had a relationship because they are the same and not the same. Eternity is basically the present while she's the future. She holds multiple presents while and which leads to the future, and they're infinite. So she's true eternity, but not a multiverse. She's the cause and effect of the multiverse, and she stores them in the future after bringing them back. But this will be a bit deeper with the actual scans and logic behind it in my eternity video. Also, she was able to bring back the same celestials that could destroy the first firmament in a war, and they started the creation of the iterations. And she did this by saving a celestial and bringing them to the outside where she stays, and eternity was changed. In fact, the 7th and 8th iterations mostly stayed in the outside because she allows it, and the first firmaments can go there because she allows it, or because they are sort of the same. Never Queen doesn't really have the conceptual block from lower beings, but she kind of does. The thing is that they're actually two outside. We have the true outside, which is the realm of the one above all, and you have the outside, which is beyond the far shore, and that is where the Never Queen goes to interact with them. They don't actually go to the true outside. That was kind of an error I made. She's more of a thing that causes things to happen wherever and whenever it needs to, below her reach, but that is just for her avatar. The iterations was kept in the far shore, but the first firmament, who went to some far place, and the 8th, which was newly born, didn't know the far shore but could reach out to people within himself since the start. Now the battle here is between the far shore and outside, which is higher. Now the far shore is beyond Platonic and false Platonic concepts, even higher than the iterations. Outside could change the 8th iteration in it, as I explained before about Never Queen and what she is. The 7th iteration could go there to her, while the 7th iteration could also casually go to the land of couldn't be shouldn't be. And now I briefly corrected that. In fact, as I'm recording this video, I just corrected something in the script, and which is the fact that there are two outsides to where the Never Queen actually stays, and she actually can let people there the same way she brought the celestial there. It's possible that eternity has been going there because stated that that is where she stays, and eternity did go there, but he's not native to there. In fact, she lets him go there, or she actually goes to the normal outside where eternity was changed, because it was pretty damn obvious in Ultimate that her realm was different from there where eternity did stay, and eternity was in a place where the other abstracts like the first firmaments could reach out to, but eternity was watching all these events playing out within eternity. So it's pretty obvious how outside is different from his outside, or the outside they can go to. Now the first firmament is rivals to Mikaboshi, and it blatantly stated eternity, but I have a way better argument as Mikaboshi is most suitable, and at the same time it doesn't really change much because the first firmament and other iterations are basically like the same size and all exist on the same plane, so it really doesn't matter really. The first firmament is rivals to Mikaboshi as he existed and occupied his space. Then the 8th iteration didn't know the far shore, and we know the iterations aren't changing, just being born. Only reason the iterations knew the far shore is because of Never Queen, I suppose, but it's implied it's because of her, which she kept them there, I suppose. That's why scaling from the 8th, and they was going to wander outside to where everything begins, like the 4th iteration is already a wanderer. So at least they are native to the outside, and Never Queen isn't in the normal outside, but the outside of the one above all, in which she's above even all the iterations at once. Some people make arguments for her being above Oblivion, which yes, she is above true Oblivion in my opinion. Yes, she is above true Oblivion in my opinion. The form you see her take is also manifestation she uses to interact with true abstracts, which is funny. No one ever notices this because she's basically a concept of what might be, what could be, what should be on an infinite scale, even above the multiverses, which holds the farthest edge of reality. Every infinite future a marvel below her reach, which is the true outside, and her avatar is what is kind of opposite to eternity as they interact, but her true form is ahead of him, which explains why the first firmament is relative to Mikaboshi, who is an infinitesimal to Oblivion. But the thing is that you can argue her above Oblivion, but they are actually on the same tier. To be honest, I'm not really certain if she's above Oblivion. Sometimes that's a discussion for another day, but it could go either ways.